the risk of sounding like old codgers, we must say, automakers just don't make big, comfy, American-style sedans anymore, at least, not in America. Sportiness is in, and even corned behemoths like Chrysler's 300 and Chevrolet's Impala exhibit levels of sharpness and poise that no Reagan-era Lincoln Town Car could imagine. Kia's first ever full-size luxury sedan, the K900, winked into existence, boldly bucking the trend, figuring there's a well-heeled, silver-haired slice of buyers that values ride comfort and roominess above all else. Having set the table with a luxury cadenza, not to mention its always improving mainstream lineup, Kia dialed up the luxury for its K900 flagship. What better way to assess the company's initial crack at $50,000 plus luxury ride than to have our enthusiast staff evaluate a car tuned so unapologetically for comfort? One Korean town car, hold the live axle, please. Kia launched the K900 with a V8 engine. A V6 joins the ranks later, a decision we dig, since plus-size, rear-drive sedans deserve a V8 engine. And so our long-term arrived equipped with a 420-horsepower TOW 5.0-litre borrowed from Hyundai. The whole car, in fact, is more or less borrowed from Hyundai, the 8-speed automatic, base V6 engine, and the underlying platform are adapted from the previous generation Genesis. The 2015 Genesis is an all-new piece. Size-wise, the K900 falls directly between the outgoing Genesis and that car's larger sibling, the Hyundai Access. It's beefy. Beefy also describes the car's base price, which at $60,400 includes a veritable cornucopia of luxury features such as a panoramic sunroof, adaptive fold headlights, LED running lights, rain-sensing windshield wipers, 3-zone automatic climate control, Lexicon surround sound audio, Napa leather interior trim, real wood accents, heated front and outboard rear seats, ventilated front chairs, and navigation. Standard safety gear includes blind spot detection, rear cross-traffic alert, and lane departure warning. Our sole optional add-on, the $6,000 VIP package, is the only available option. It adds a driver's seat cushion extension, power front seat headrests, power reclining rear seats with adjustable lumbar, ventilation for the outboard rear seating positions, a 12.3-inch TFT digital gauge cluster, a head-up display, and a 360-degree surround view parking assist camera. The grand total came to $66,400, which is a heck of a lot for a Kia, but a run-off-the-mill tab compared with, say, moderately equipped versions of mid-size German luxury sedans such as the BMW 5 Series or Audi A6. Rivulets of wiggleness. Any comparisons with German luxury sedans end when the K900 is put in motion. The big 4,670-pound Kia has a propensity for wiggling over even the slightest road ripples. This is the price of compliance, as the K900 effectively tames harsh impacts and irons out even the rudest road surfaces. But like a ship heading into moderate swells, the Kia subtly bobs through 2 or 3 up-down motions following a bump. Stab the soft brake pedal to the floor, and the windshield fills with pavement as the K900's bow plunges down. Stops from 70 miles per hour come in as little as 179 feet. Which is about average for something this huge, but the body's squishy concept of control means emergency stops that are slightly dramatic. Alternatively, mashing the gas pedal rockets the K900 forward with surprising alacrity, once the big ship leans back and gets on plane. The 5.0-litre V8 moves the Kia to 60 miles per hour in just 5.5 seconds. And the sedan can hit 149 miles per hour. It took us a while to determine the purpose of the big, numb-feeling round thing in front of the driver. There's very little self-centering to the steering and the driver must really pay attention to keep the big Kia in the center of a lane. A switch on the console offers the driver a choice of eco, normal, and sport driving modes, which vary transmission shift mapping and steering effort, but these do nothing to improve steering feel. Down with the wiggle, so a Cadillac CTS-V or a BMW M5 the K900 is not, but early logbook comments seem to indicate a zen oneness with our long-termers wigglitude. Peppering the car's logbook are raves over the suspension's ability to tame Michigan's mighty potholes, while one editor referred to the Kia as the nicest Lincoln Town Car ever. The interior, too, has come in for praise for its logical control layout, fine materials, and commodious seats. Predictably, the K900 has spent a lot of time on the highway. At 70 miles per hour, the cabin is a 67 decibel isolation chamber, black out the windows, and only the gentle wiggling and bobbing of the body would tip off those inside that the Kia is moving at all. Just 3 months and more than 4,000 miles into its stay, the Kia already has ventured outside of Michigan several times, heading to Chicago, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Ohio. No doubt helped by all the highway miles thus far, the K900's observed fuel economy has been a pleasant surprise as well, averaging 22 miles per gallon to date. The car's long-distance popularity should get it through 40,000 miles in a timely fashion, a period during which we'll analyze the Kia's most intriguing aspect, its luxury car legitimacy. As with the ill-fated Volkswagen Fiat, is the $60,000 K900 a bridge too far, or has Kia wisely staked a claim to a slice of the luxury market abandoned by other companies? We hope to have an even better idea by the time we issue our first update. Stay tuned. Alexander Stock Closer, what we like and WHY, just over 10,000 miles into its stay with us, the K900 continues to garner praise for its quiet operation, spacious cabin, and supple ride quality. Like a princess's pea, bumps are filtered through what feels like a layer of zero gravity, a water mattress, and 1,000 golden retriever puppies before reaching occupants. Several drivers have sighed relief over the infotainment system's ease of use and plethora of hard buttons, which make quick work of switching among audio, navigation, and other functions. Fuel economy is another high point. Well, relatively at least, 21 miles per gallon isn't great, but for something this big, it's not bad. What we don't like in WHY, as in American politics, one Kia K900 logbook commenter's humble opinion is another's ammunition. Some staffers find the Kia comfy. Others say that its disconnected chassis and steering are out of step with the brand's increasingly sporty marketing, while still others simply grow tired of sloppy road behavior. Among those who absolutely can't stomach the K900's nautical ride, the more solid-feeling Chrysler 300 and Hyundai Genesis are popular suggested alternatives. Even its supporters agree that the Kia's steering isn't accurate enough, especially on the highway, where its need for constant corrections at the wheel to maintain steady, straight-ahead progress interferes with an otherwise serene experience. What went wrong in WHY? The Kia may glide over impressively large bumps and potholes, but just because our butts don't feel the impacts doesn't mean they aren't happening or any less forceful. One such Michigan road encounter left an indelible impression in the K900's right rear wheel and flattened the tire. We passed on a replacement aluminium rim from Kia. It costs $825, for the record, and instead dropped $135 on wheel repair and sent tire rack $211 for fresh rubber. Mounting and balancing $36 brought the final tally for the experience to $382. Otherwise, nothing else has gone wrong, and no faults were found during the Kia's 7,500-mile service. $56 for an oil change, inspection, and tire rotation, where we went in WHY. So far, the K900 has racked up miles at about 2,500 a month, a fairly average pace among our long-term test vehicles. The big sedan has visited Chicago, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Ohio on a mixture of pleasure and work-related journeys. For its latest trip, the Kia trekked west to Montana with John Phillips but will return to Michigan in time for winter. Alexander Stock Closer, what we like. On an episode of Seinfeld, Jerry Stiller screamed, "Serenity now." He might have been begging for a K900. This Kia's cockpit is a soothing library of motoring doldrums, an isolation pod, a rolling sofa, a tomb of rectitude and silence. It all recollects the interior of, oh, say, a Lexus LS 460L. In fact, the Kia emits 36 decibels at idle, same as the Lexus, 73 decibels at wide open throttle, also same as the Lexus, and 67 decibels at a 70 miles per hour cruise, only 1 decibel beyond the Lexus. That, folks, is some kind of serenity now, enough that you'll be looking down at the tach to see if the engine is still running, which is pretty amazing given its 420 horsepower output. EH3.8-litre V6 should be available shortly. The velvet fog of revs continues right up to the 6,700 revolutions per minute red line, with the 8-speed automatic shuffling through gears like the world's slickest croupier. All that power has held our average fuel economy to 21 miles per gallon, but a 415-mile range compensates nicely. 60 miles per hour is yours in 5.5 seconds versus 6.0 seconds in the LS 460L, and the quarter mile is dispatched in a scant 13.9 seconds at a not-so-scant 104 miles per hour, plenty quick for anything weighing 4,670 pounds. Mash the throttle and it feels as if you can summon 4 kickdowns. When's the last time you heard someone say that ? To pass lumbering trucks and such? And 70 miles per hour worth of velocity can be scrubbed in only 179 feet, which is pretty wonderful. Depending on your motoring priorities, this is maybe our best ever long-term for interstate cruising, with seats that are comfortable for 16 hours at a crack. And on each of 3 occasions when we've hauled dual occupants to the airport, 1 or more has nodded off in the limousine with the rear seats. If there's one word to define the K900, it's fluid. This car is honest about being a soft luxo cruiser or nothing else, as if Kia were saying, we can do luxury, too. And now it's true. What we don't like, by far the biggest knock against the K900, is that all that glorious ride compliance obliterates any pretense of handling, even in sport mode. Dive, roll, squat, pitch, this Kia is simply a festival of unwanted motions on demanding roads. Despite the lovely ride, our deep formal blue K900 will nonetheless circulate a skid pad at 0.80 grams, which isn't particularly bad for a luxo sedan. That's the same grip as the aforementioned LS 460L, in fact. Still, whenever you approach the Kia's latcher limits, the brain in your Chrysler shouts, whoa, baby, let's not get crazy. Steering feel, is pea soup, self-centering is just satisfactory, effort build-up in turns is, well, what effort? And the brake pedal isn't big on information, either. The BM-style shifter is disappointing, with the tactile sensation of a week-old noodle, which is to insult all pasta. It is thus easy to grab N instead of D, but if you've summoned any revs in the meantime, no gears at all are available. The K900 is a cautious boy. Despite this Comfort Gear's leaden window sticker, there are still plasticky, frumpy surfaces in the cabin, the steering column, lower door panels, sills, some of the switchgear, that look to have been sourced from an Optima or a Forte. And apart from the fork-sewered headliner, which is a soothing thing to touch, the rest of the cockpit is strangely old-fashioned. Check out the font on the gauges. At approximately 11,400 miles, the adaptive cruise control falsely identified a vehicle ahead and threw the K900 into a full panic stop on I-90 in southeastern Montana. A scary event. Could a giant bug have splattered on the radar's lens? So far, we all have theories but no hard data. You can put yourself in a K900 for as little as $60,400, but we, of course, went all Carnival and specified the VIP package $6,000, giving us, among other wonderments, powered all latches, ventilated rear seats, and a driver's seat cushion extension for those trips when the driver needs a nap. That brought the total to $66,400. It is hard to describe the typical civilian reaction to the fiscal news, except to say it follows the basic pattern of 60 grand? For a Kia? Are you SG me? The Kia's tame styling does damage, 2. Revealing nothing about its owner except his advancing age. Or it might suggest you're a chauffeured Asian CEO. Either way, that's probably not the image you had in mind. In Minnesota, the car was mistaken for a Maserati, but everyone else has so far ID'd it as a Buick. In fairness, quite a nice Buick. Speaking of luxury brands, at least 2 CD editors noted, this should have been the latest Lincoln. Truly, that's a fair assessment. In the years ahead, it will be interesting to monitor K900 resale values. Not that the sample size will be very large, only 1,330 K900s were sold in America in all of 2014. What went wrong? No sooner did we take delivery of the K900 than we lost a battle with a Michigan pothole. Typically such potholes are filled with water and are thus invisible, although you'd think the white caps on the surface would have given it away. In any event, alloy wheel repair specialists straightened the bent wheel $135 and discount tire balanced and affixed it $36. We first serviced the Kia at Ann Arbor Automotive at 8,987 miles basic inspections, lube and filter, for $56.05 and again at 15,413 miles at Rimrock Kia in Billings, Montana. Rimrock had never seen a K900 before. We get 'em fresh, don't we? And thus had no replacement cabin air filter. They nonetheless performed the basic inspections, plus lube and engine air filter, for $86.20. We'll get the filter replaced soon. Other than the installation of 19-inch Biley Soto 03 winter rubber to replace the Hankook Optimos, the K900 has so far held firm, with nothing falling off or going haywire apart from the adaptive cruise event. Not bad considering the craters of Michigan and the shake fist that typifies rural Montana's scabrous byways. Where we went, for 4 adults, the K900 is a kind of luxurious auditorium on wheels, and the car thus logged treks to West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Then, immediately following the magazine's annual 10 Best soiree, the editor of our Montana desk sequestered the K900 for 4 months, navigating it through the Bitterroot Mountains and onto Washington State's San Juan and Orcas Islands. On one of its many ferry rides, the Kia was parked nose first into the ship's open bow. When it emerged, it was slathered in a white saddle of evaporated seafoam and salt. We're not sure its Korean creators intended such artistic defilement. In the end, though, the Montana snow forced this rear-drive, 420 horsepower sedan back east. Even the snow mode, which levens shifts and revs to levels seen only in locomotive diesels, the car was unable to defeat 8 inches of ice-capped slush. John Phillips, what we like, the Kia's Oldman car ride quality, silent interior, and sprawl-out space continue to garner praise from road trippers. In fact, several logbook comments have zeroed in on what a decent Lincoln the K900 would make. Oh, but for a town car redux. What we don't like, more than 20,000 miles into this test, the Kia has largely failed to produce any new opinions among the staff. As it was upon its arrival, the K900 remains the go-to long-haul, mile-devouring, multiple-status in a need-a choice, bar none. Yet in between road trips, it can sit for days at a time. Local duty is hampered by the floaty, imprecise handling that doesn't lend itself particularly well to the cute and thrust of rush hour commutes. As such, the K900 often gets overlooked as a local choice, especially as summer has arrived and the CD office welcomes more high-performance short-term test cars. Other complaints center around the car's inept traction control, which so decisively kills power during wintry uphill starts on snow and ice that kicking a foot out the door for some Fred Flintstone action may be more conducive to forward motion than matting the gas. And the price, at $66,000, still seems steep for something so lacking in luxury brand cachet. Editorialist John Phillips sums it up perfectly. A $66,000 Kia is as peculiar as a $78,000 Volkswagen Phaeton. And we all know how the Phaeton experiment worked out, at least in this country. What went wrong? unwelcome echoes of the ill-fated Fiat and have been restricted to discussions of price. However, as the K900 has continued to stay nearly trouble-free. At 20,488 miles, we took it to the dealer for a check engine light and a bent wiper arm, likely the result of a bad car wash experience, with the first issue being handled under warranty and the arm costing us $45.94. The dash light turned out to be the result of a bad burge valve. Through no fault of the Kia's, we plunked down $974.62 on a replacement windshield after suffering a large crack at 22,712 miles and another $622.04 to have the rear bumper repainted to address some scrapes of mysterious origin. Of specific note to future or current K900 owners, heads up, LeBron, we're told the luxury sedan actually includes a period of free maintenance, but for some reason dealerships have made us pay for them ourselves because the car technically belongs to Kia. Where we went, with the majority of its mileage accumulation occurring on the great highways of America, the K900 has visited quite a few far-flung locales since our last update. On one journey we viewed Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, and Boston through the K900's windshield. And we've also seen non-turnpike sections of Ohio as well as the western and northern reaches of Michigan. Alexander Stockloser.